This is Two Nerds and a Joke with Robert and Ernie.
Thank you, Distant Body Hot Girl Voice. This is Two Nerds and a Joke with Robert and Ernie. I'm Ernie.
And I'm Robert, as today has stated. It is still my name.
God. You can't never let it be simple, can you?
No, I can never make it simple.
I feel like one day it's going to change, though. You're like, no, it's now Robert.
One of these days, sir, I can only hope to have such a cool name as you, actually. Kevin the Giraffe is with us today. He is, I had a chance to talk to him for a little bit beforehand, and he is a video game, I guess the correct term is geek, but he is a Twitch streamer, a video game awesome, has a very close-knit, would you say, group of followers. Does that be a correct statement?
It's called a tower, but knit is fine. It sounds a little bit grandma, but I'm still enjoying it. I like that. Knit.
No, actually, that's a good interlude. Please tell us what that is. What is a tower?
A tower, if you don't know, is a group of giraffes.
There you go.
Kind of like a murder of crows or a...
Yeah. That is so good to know. And see now, Ernie, we've learned something new today. Just to even start off, before we even get into the wonderful world of video games and Twitch, which Kevin is a sometime philosopher on, if you will. He knows a few things about it. Dang. So maybe one or two.
The other term also is like those weird mythical creatures. Somebody had to sit down and come up with names for how do we classify a group of these mythical creatures? And I think the weirdest one was, I found a group of unicorns is called a blessing.
Nice. I actually have heard that.
I don't know why, but it feels really good. I think it'd be better if it was called a prayer, because that's the only way you're gonna find it.
Wow.
Oh.
So yes, I know, absolutely. So Kevin, give us a brief intro of the wonderful, glorious world of Twitch and what you do.
As a giraffe and the thing on Twitch, I play video games, and that's the quick answer.
That's a quick answer.
That's a quick answer. But in reality, what I do is I play video games and say stupid stuff while having fun with a community of people, or sometimes not people. But
most of the time, hopefully, people, of course. Now,
of course.
You mentioned before we got on a specific type of game, and you called it a gotcha game, and I really feel that we've all played these. And I don't know what it is, but I feel in my heart of hearts we've played these before, and we didn't even know it.
Yeah, I mean, so right now, it hasn't always been this case. So if you're like, oh, he streams gotcha games, it hasn't always been this case. But a gotcha game is a game in which it got its name because it's a game that kind of hooks into you and it makes you want to spend money and more money without any original investment. So the game doesn't cost you anything, but it's always like, hey man, do you want to throw me $5? It's kind of like a friend that comes over and sends you messages, and it's like, hey man, how you doing? That's great. Do you have $10 I can borrow?
Nice.
It constantly is wanting money from you. Now, of course, you can play these games without money, but for the most part, it's a game that hooks you in and makes it appealing to you to never stop playing it and spending money.
And spending a lot of money.
This is like how I met Robert, basically. Very similar. Very similar. Go on, taking notes.
But this is kind of, it reminds me of, Ernie, of the mobile app games. So I think a lot of them would actually kind of, and you can correct it, Kevin, that is kind of their thing, right?
That is it's usually on mobile. They've kind of branched out now. You can get these gotcha games on anything, like PS4. I mean, there's probably one back on the 360 that one person still plays, but for the most part, it's mobile.
So explain to me a little bit, because as I have some friends who are looking at this world of streaming video games on Twitch and things like that. What is some of the equipment? Now, obviously, it is not hugely expensive to get into, but I know it's not cheap. But what kind of equipment would you need to get started, need to have?
I think the best thing you need to do as a streamer is have internet. Just number
one, internet.
Have it. If you don't, If you don't have internet, it's gonna be a hard ride. No, I think the best thing you could have after the obvious is a good microphone. Just have one that makes you sound decent.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't. You don't even need a good face cam. You don't need any of the stuff. All that stuff can come later. But if people can properly hear you without it sounding distorted all the time, then that's like the real pleasure. Like that's like the good shit.
Nice.
Like
nice.
That's what people want, you know.
And what do you play? You play PC games, or do you have you figured out a way to set up PS4 for it?
So you can actually stream using PS4s nowadays, which is like really, really easy and good, but the frame rate's a little garbage. So I bought an Elgato card like a long time ago with the intention of recording some stuff with my friends, and then I don't know, I then bought it and just kind of like was like, oh yeah, I have this, I might as well use it to stream. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I might as well throw it in there. So so I have an Elgato card and a PC. My current next step, actually, because this is a secret tech that a lot of people know, so it's not that secret, but a good tech is to actually, whatever PC you're using to stream, don't use that to play the games. It's actually better and more efficient to have an Elgato card, like a capture card, and then use a different computer to stream using the Elgato card what you're doing on your gaming computer. So it takes two computers, and that's actually what a lot of professionals do, because then it takes a lot less of the heavy points on the computer you're using, because if you're streaming on it and you're checking stuff on it and you're playing video games on it, it's a heavy toll on your computer. So having a second one that's actually doing the streaming process through a capture card is actually way more efficient and better.
So you got to be really kind of up on your streaming tech and your video card, and kind of do a little bit of research before you can even get into this.
Yeah, if you want to like go in hard, yeah, do a little bit of research. But if you want to just start, then all you got to do is get like a good microphone. Really, just get a good microphone and internet that can handle it, and just go.
Nice. That's a good start. It's a good start. And obviously the point of the Twitch streaming and a lot of these things, and I also saw you have a Facebook page and you have a YouTube that shows some of these videos. Really the whole point of it, of course, is as much as your equipment is exciting and fun and gets you that start, of course, it's about the video games. So obviously all of us here have our favorites and the ones that we're currently playing. Ernie, have you gotten back into playing yet? Have you started playing one of your games you keep talking about?
I occasionally play. I have a PS4 console that I just play games on. I have laptops. I don't have a tower PC that I would want to play games on. But yeah, like the PS4, like I just like to hop on and like occasionally play Apex Legends. I did the God of War a while back. But the next one I wanted to get it's kind of like a roots back to like my gaming heritage, is to get the new Mortal Kombat.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and
have you had a chance to play?
I
haven't.
I just have.
It's really, really fun. And honestly, if you have you played the old one, Mortal Kombat XL or X?
I played X. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, because if you hadn't played that one, you could save some money. Just go play that one and then upgrade way down the line. But
no, that's what got me hooked back into like those fighting games again. That and the fact that that is kind of coming full circle again. It seems like some of those older fighting games are coming back around again. And I want to say, and I'm not sure because I'm not deep into the Twitch community. So I was wondering, like, what's driving people there? Is it like those long adventure games, like a God of War or a Final Fantasy, or is it like these single person shooter games like the Apex or Call of Duty?
Well, one of the best things about Twitch in general is that it really doesn't have one singular like thing that it pushes for. Like some people go on Twitch and they don't even play video games, right? Like they do art, they just talk. They have a whole just chatting section that I promise you is 90% girls, but has other things to it as well. But like it really is like a place where if you want to find something to do, or like you want to just watch something, you could do it. It's like a good, like, instead of TV, you could just watch Twitch. There's like Pokemon anime streaming on it all the time. They did like, God, what was another one that they did that was big? I think they did every single Power Ranger episode was streaming at one time. Like they do a lot of stuff like that. And like one of the things I do that's weird, that nobody really knows, is I actually watch some streamers that don't do video games. They paint Warhammer, but they're just really good at painting Warhammer. So I just put them on in the background sometimes and just hear like him being like, and now I'm turning his pants blue. Like, I really have a good time with it. So it really is a place of not just video games anymore. It can be really anything. And if you have a good idea to stream something that's unique and fun, like do it. Right.
That's interesting. You're talking about minifig painting then for Warhammer.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I actually have a friend who's trying to get into that world of painting minifigs. It's difficult. You got to have some seriously steady hands to do that stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, that is tiny.
I have two hooves that do not work well.
Nice, very nice, very nice. Now, so for you, what is the game that you are currently playing on for people on Twitch?
So I stream a lot of different games. I'm what's known as a variety streamer, which is I'm not like I don't do Fortnite. I don't do I don't just do. I've never played Fortnite on stream, or maybe I did once when it first came out, but that doesn't matter. Point being is there's some people that just do Fortnite. There's some people that just do finding glitches in Super Mario 64. There's some people that just do Mortal Kombat. I'm not one of those people. I'm the person who goes like, this game looks fun. I can beat it in an hour or maybe 3 hours or 10 hours, whatever, and I'll just try to beat it. So nice. I'll just I'll play Undertale. I'll play Apex Legends if I want with some friends. Like I'll stream whatever I possibly can. So every month it changes really desperately. But like right now I'm currently playing what I was talking about before, gacha games, which are like, mobile games on an emulator on my computer. And I'm playing that because I've noticed the community is kind of interesting. The community you get with those kind of games is kind of interesting. And like, they're kind of fun to play and they're free. And I don't spend money in those games. So it's fun to like really try to do it without money. And like, you can pay money to kind of gamble and get a really good character or something like that. So and it's called a pull if you try to pull that character. So if like, I pull really well and didn't spend any money and got an amazing rare character, people are like, oh my God, throwing their hats and like doing backflips in the chat. And if I pull absolute garbage and I get like the worst thing you can possibly pull, people are laughing and being like, wow, what the biggest loser. And I'm like, damn right, I have this worst luck. So it has that like really good feeling of like, oh, what's going to happen? Is he going to hit a jackpot? Is he not going to hit a jackpot? So.
Well, that's what I noticed also when I tried playing the gacha games, like Final Fantasy 15, which I found kind of weird on the mobile device. They all like hop from game to game. As I got to like talk to the individual players in these realms, they had like 6 or 7 other games going on, and somehow, some way. Now I never circumvented the rules. I played the game straight up, never paid anything for them, but trying to follow along with them. A lot of them try to pull the tricks, like you said, so that way they can like, level up their empires to like, level 99, and they're like going around just basically setting fire to everything.
Oh yeah, I have. There's one game I play called Epic 7, and I have, and it's a really good anime game if you're ever interested. It's really good, and the gacha system doesn't feel too horrible. But I have a friend who spends $130 in it a month.
Yeah.
And that, and he's been playing it for a year. So he spent over like $12,000 or $1,200 on this game since then. And he doesn't feel bad about it. And I mean, he shouldn't. He works at a bank. He has a decent job. Like, $1,200 isn't that bad if you can afford it. But it is like you're paying $1,200 for a game. That being said, I play this game as well, and he can destroy me by blinking. So there really is like,
Well, and that's the thing is like if you're gonna do a gacha game like that, like I'm playing. I just started because I wanted to play again. Dr. Mario Brother just came back out for mobile. Like they just announced it. It just came out. It's the same game from the old time. It's a little bit different gameplay, but it is totally a gacha game as well. but it isn't fully developed yet. It looks like they're still kind of building out stuff, so it doesn't have that. You don't need to buy anything.
No, of course.
Versus some of these other ones where it's like, well, you know, you can come back every 24 hours and you might be able to do something unless you buy our game pack.
Yeah.
You know, and there's definitely, as you're saying, there's like a variance of level between those nice gotcha games, which can enhance your gameplay and level you fast, and those that, you know, you can't play without buying something right out of the way.
Yeah.
And I kind of found that. So for console systems, what are you currently playing, or are you just doing the streaming ones?
So right now I'm doing a lot of like I have there's a whole bunch of different things I'm doing on console gaming. The last thing I did I think was like either Sekiro or Kingdom Hearts 3. That was the big two ones that I did. The next console game I'm going to be doing is my Switch, and it's going to be the new Fire Emblem game because I want to play it. So I'm going to be streaming it like as much as possible. And then I'm pretty sure after that, it's going to be like the next Pokemon game, Sword and Shield. So it's I kind of like mix it up where it's like, oh, if a game that I love comes out, bam, stream it, complete it, awesome, and then move back to, you know, any PC.
Now, are you a completionist?
No, not even slightly. No. In fact, I will very convincingly find something that is really hard, leave it for 5 months, come back 5 months later, and then beat it and be like, cool, I did the thing I wanted to do, and then never touch it again. Yeah, I'm not a completionist.
No? Okay, good. It's just curious. It's like for me, I did a lot of Assassin's Creed games. Like I was obsessed for a long time. I've finally gotten out of it. I was playing Odyssey. I have Odyssey. I like almost a third through it, and I was just like, you know what? I've been playing this for literally some variant of Assassin's Creed for almost a year. Like literally, I was playing all of the Assassin's Creed games. And I was like, I love the game still, but I just kind of got burnt out. And it's one of those completionist things where it's like, yeah, I want to complete the game, but you know, I know I'm never going to get 100%. I'm not that guy. I don't have the patience for it. And it's like those types of games are really starting to bother me. So I'm trying to get into a different style of gameplay where you don't have to worry about being that level of completionist, you know, where you'll see that percentage, but it will, you know, really upset you if you don't get it kind of thing. So you said you played Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yes,
Let me ask you. Now they have the remastered edition, the kind of a preview to catch you up to speed that they came out with. Have you really tried to seriously follow that story, or are you just enjoying the game?
Actually, it's funny you say that because I talked to this. My roommate hates Kingdom Hearts. He thinks it's stupid. He thinks it's dumb. He thinks like the story doesn't make any sense. And I always go like, "Yep, you're correct." Like, yes, all those things. And he's like, and he's like, how do you even know what's going on? And I'm like, dude, I love Monsters Inc. so much that I just want to be in it. I love Final Fantasy VIII so much that I'll watch Squall Leon be in anything. I love these things so much that it's being held together by like prayers, glue, and gum in terms of story. And I will eat every little piece of it up just because I want to interact with those characters. I just want to I just want to look at it. And he was like, that's
funny.
Yeah, just put it up on the screen for you, right? That's all you want.
Exactly. Oh man, especially Kingdom Hearts 3, it is literally just explosions and colors. Like but it's so pretty. It's explosions and colors.
Hey, but you know what? When that game hit the shelves, man, everyone went for it. And literally, I knew a couple people that are followers of the show that they basically like use their time off from work just to play it straight through. And I thought it was insane. Like one person, and she finished it in 3 days, playing it 3 days straight.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
I mean, that's probably 8 hours a day for 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen any other games come out with that same type of pull?
It's actually funny you mentioned that because I used to work at like a EB Games or a GameStop if you're American, and like there actually are. I got to see a lot of different games have that kind of ability, but Kingdom Hearts 3 had this kind of every single person who bought it felt the need to say they've been waiting 12 years for it, which which is totally fair. I remember when I was like young and I was like, I'm opening up a bank account. Pardon me, because I need to buy a PS3 for when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. And then fast forward 10 years later, and I'm like, wow, that was a stupid idea. So, yeah, it's just, it was definitely one of those games that I think brought back a lot of people who had forgotten. And it was a good game to come back to. As I said, you just press buttons and colors are on the screen. Like, it really has no... I'm sure there's somebody out there who could be like, Kevin, you just don't know the ultimate combos, and you've probably never beaten it on extreme hard one-person, one-punch-man mode. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, you're right. I don't know any of that. But the game has a beginner button. Like, it literally has a button that says, do you not care about fighting and you just want to listen to this incomprehensible story? Start that mode.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. No.
So like it's a game for what feels for like everybody, and especially the people who didn't even play games for 7 years. Like they just come right back into it.
Dude, to be honest with you, I can't remember a game where I ever said, nah, screw the beginner and intermediate level. Put me at like legendary level. I want to just get my butt handed to me as soon as I walk on the screen. That's what I want.
No.
Yeah, I can't imagine those people because you're right, Ernie. It's one of those weird things. It's like I know there are people out there that do that.
Oh yeah,
and maybe our listening audience can kind of talk about a game that they had that experience with. But it's like, what game would you really? I mean, I can understand. Like for example, Kevin, to speak to the Kingdom Hearts specifically, like if you're a completionist, you have to go back through the game and defeat it on hard mode to get the ultimate award, whatever it is. So you had to go back. So I could see maybe doing it second go through if you really were into it. But beyond that, I just don't see the appeal to do that kind of crazy. It's definitely a lot.
Although,
it's definitely a lot.
People who play Dark Souls and games like that, that's their whole career. That's like
screw those. I tried. I played that game for like a day. I went back to the GameStop and returned it.
That's fair.
I did. I was like, dude,
it's gonna sound awful because I just talk shit about it, but I actually love Dark Souls and I've beaten it once over and I love it to death. But man, is it a punch in the face?
Well, I have a newfound respect for you, sir, because that game I couldn't even get past like the second level without dying 20 times. I'm like, mother, I can't get anywhere. I can't do anything. You got to have the patience of a saint to get through that stuff. I tell you what, dude.
You know what it is? It's one of those things. It's like I always, when I was younger, had a problem with authority. And so that game just felt like authority, where it's just telling me like, no, you're going to die. And I'm like, no. And I just keep going until I get my way. And then I'm like, good. See, game, you can't beat me. And then I'm just acting like a 5-year-old child in front of my computer screen.
having a temper tantrum, just, I'm not going to let you win.
Exactly.
Not going to happen.
Like a big brother.
Well, we're here with Kevin the Giraffe, for those of you who might not be listening from the beginning, and why wouldn't you be? But we are going to do a very brief commercial break here to talk about some of our sponsors. Speaking to Podcoin, which we have been using. They've been promoting us, getting us new fans, new audience, and a lot of popularity, so I appreciate them as always, of course. They're a great place to go and listening. Actually make some money off listening to podcasts, either for yourself to get some nice gift cards or for charity as well. So you got some options there. So we're always happy with them. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then Ernie is going to give us some more awesomeness. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of those retro games that we love so much and that are still so popular.
Seamless transition.
And we've returned. It was seamless. It was a beautiful thing. And we're back with Kevin the Giraffe talking video games, Twitch streaming, etc. In the world and wonder of video games. So, Kevin, obviously, I brought out a question. Retro gaming. How far back do you go? What are some of your favorites from way back in the days?
I mean, my favorite... it sucks because I hate saying it, but I was a big Sonic fan. Oof.
Oh, there you go.
I know. Sorry?
Yes, some 16-bit magic.
Perfect. I don't know. It feels like weird nowadays to say I love Sonic because, like, the fandom has gotten so ridiculous. But I liked Sonic when I was younger, and I remember it wasn't the first video game I played. I think the first video game I ever played was on a original Game Boy, and it was like the Super Mario Land because my brother had it, and he was like, we're going to PEI and we're driving there, so you get to play the video games," because he didn't want to hear me cry for 5 days. So I just played Super Mario, and I played Tetris, and I played some weird soccer game, and it really like blew my mind. Yeah. It was really nice.
So how many of the Sonic games did you end up playing?
So with the Sonic games, my brother also had a Genesis, and he was like, "I'm moving, so you can just have this." And I had Sonic 1, Sonic 2. I had the Sonic and Knuckles pack.
Nice.
Yeah, which was actually really cool because then you could be Knuckles and Sonic 2, which me as a child just couldn't even fathom. Like, it was like an impossible. I just couldn't imagine it. And otherwise, I had like Mortal Kombat and like a bunch of other Sega Genesis games that are kind of hard to find now. And it was really like my love for like, oh man, I like going really fast. I like going as fast as possible. And so that was like really, really cool. Even with all that, even with all those retro gamings, it didn't really feel like I was a super big gamer. Like, I loved it, but I wouldn't do it a lot. And then I broke my wrist. I completely like clean break broke my wrist because I went off a curb and landed on a car on a scooter. And it was like at that point, the doctor told my parents like, "Hey, his hand is going to be a little bit screwed. So he's going to have to exercise it." And they were like, "What's the best exercise?" And he's like, "Does he play video games?" So exactly. So it was like 6 months of not allowed to play any like sports or even run or anything. And I was told to stay in the house and play video games. And then I got fat and I got like really into it. So, which I honestly didn't even mind. Like, I started to appreciate food more. Like, it just like completely changed my life. So yeah, that was really like the big kicker, was just being like, "Oh, you're not allowed to throw a ball. You're not allowed to go running." And I was like, "All right, I'll play a video game. I'll run in that." And then I was like, "Wow, this is so good." Yeah, that was like my real first experience. I don't even remember what games I was playing at the time. It was just like, I specifically remember going to my cousin's house and my parents being like, "Play video games because you can't do anything else." And I was like, "All right." And then bam, he had like a PS2 or a PS1, and I just like flew off with it.
Oh man, going from the Genesis to the PS2 must have been like a leap in life.
Yeah, it was huge. Like, as I said, I only had was like these retro games, right? So like, as soon as I was like, "What? There's like a PS2 and stuff? Like, what is all this?" And then like I went backwards. Like, I got a PS1 and I got an N64 and I got like a GameCube. Like, I went straight. Oh, I got a Dreamcast as well. Like, I went straight backwards. Yeah, it was pretty neat. I think I had the Dreamcast already, but I didn't use it nearly enough. And then it wasn't until I broke my wrist where I only had one game, and it was Sonic Adventure, the demo. So I just played one level for like 8 hours a day. Yeah, and I even got like tricked. Like, somebody told me like, if you beat it within 1 minute, you unlock the second level. So that was like something I did.
Curse them. No, I'm trying to think back of all the systems I've had. I had the I want to say I had the Atari 2400, not the 2600.
Wow.
Then from there, I got the regular Nintendo, and then I stuck on the regular Nintendo for years. Those games were like Zelda, the first Zelda that came with the gold cartridge. Actually saved your progress, blew my mind, right? Then the next game that I had to beat, no matter what, was Ninja Gaiden, the first one.
Oh,
all right, and that one literally, it came to the local. It wasn't even Blockbuster. It was Network Video at the time. It had the same color, same logo, everything. But once they got it, I went there, rented it, and literally stayed up the whole night playing this game and beat it. Brought it back the next day and said, done. So I thought I was this big gaming hotshot at this point. Fell off of video games for a while, fell back into it with PS1, and then that's when like PS2 came along. I got a PS2, PS3. But I think the retro games coming back around again, I think they hold a little bit more appeal to me now than the newer ones, because the newer ones are just insane. I try my best to be on Apex Legends long enough to, like, I don't know, lose all control. Because it seems like I get, and I've explained this to Robert, like I heard about this game coming out, and I heard it was going to be like the big thing, because I think it was cross-platforms, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, it was.
All right, so I get on it, and I do the tutorial. I'm like, all right, I think I could do this. I'm like hitting all my targets. I'm like zooming in. I'm like hitting the targets from like a mile away. I'm using I'm like, all right, I think I'm ready. Let me go into like campaign mode, right? So I'm there with my team of 3. I walk outside that building, murked right off the bat from this dude a mile and a half away. The next time I'm like, all right, let me give this another shot. I get in it, and I'm with this whole other crew, different crew, and they're trying to gather all the weapons. So I finally get into the other building, and I'm walking across this catwalk, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're getting fired on, and we all break out, right? So then I turn this corner, and I see one of them like in this bin digging some stuff out. I go up next to him. Turns out it's the guy from the other team. He turns around and just like murks me. I'm like, all right, that clearly I do not have the right mindset for this game. Before I throw my controller out the door.
I actually have a question for you, because it feels like this to me. But does it feel like you get hit twice and you're dead, but it takes like an entire clip to kill anybody else?
Yeah. And you got to get them just right too, man.
Right? It feels horrible. Like I'll feel like I empty out an entire clip, and like I hit his head, and like, oh, damage things going on, and he doesn't have the good armor on, and I have like purple armor, and it feels like he goes pop pop, and I just explode. Like there's no, and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, I spent like the last 30 minutes doing all this like slinking around and everything.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I peek up for 1 second and I'm done.
Yeah. Oh, game's so much fun though.
So much fun, so worth it.
Oh yeah, and it's free, which is more hell yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I hear you, man. I got behind some. I'm trying to think of a game that really took me like a while to like really get through. I want to say it was God of War. That one took me a while to get through, man. I had to, and I didn't even have it set to like the hardest levels too, which kind of made me feel even worse. Because I was like talking to other people that gamed a lot, and they're like, "Oh man, I finished Game of War like 2 weeks ago. How far are you?" And I tell them, and I'm like, "Oh, all you have to do is this, and this, and this." And they come over and like, "Wait a minute, what do you have to set at?" Like beginner.
Well, the thing with the God of War games, and I've actually tried to go back and replay them, and got so frustrated that I stopped too, is that it's one of those games that doesn't have a clear idea of what you need to do.
No.
Like you're in an area and you got to kind of figure it out, and it's like one of those games that needs a walkthrough that never got a walkthrough. And now that it's been out a while, there are tons of them, so you can go back and look. But you're like, how the heck do I get past this stage? And you're like, oh, they're like, yeah, you just do this and this. How the heck was I supposed to get that? It's not even the fighting. Like I'm good at the fighting part, but like there's this one part where you had to jump from one fence to another fence to another fence, and like I'm trying to do it over and over. And I can't do it. Like, the controllers won't work. So I looked online, and I was like, oh, we have to do it this way. I was like, well, frick me up a frick shell. That's ridiculous. It's not intuitive at all of what you need to do. It really isn't, but it's so much fun to play.
And then I got stuck in this. I forgot the name of the game, but it's like you're a Roman legionnaire or something like that, and you're going through Rome. And it kind of like when you kind of get into these big fight combination scenes, it kind of slows down. And you end up using your shield to like smash people and stuff like that. But it was
Rise is.
I think it is. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Rise. Yeah, Rise. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm getting through it, and I get to this one like boss level. I guess it's one of the bosses there, and literally, I probably spent a good couple nights like just. There's no way to beat this thing. There's no way to beat this thing. I actually had to look it up on YouTube to find out how to beat this thing. And then I was like, you know what? If I have to do this, I don't want to play the game anymore. Because it was like, oh, you have to do this move and this move. You have to like wait for him to make this move, and I'm like, man, some of these guys are like gaming on a way other level than I am.
Oh yeah, it's funny you say that because like I always think there's three things that will kill a game for me, and one of them is if I have to check the walkthrough. Like if I have to check the walkthrough like multiple times, then I'll stop playing the game because then I feel like I have to play it with a laptop beside me.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then another thing that kills a game is the moment I said I'm going to try to complete it. Automatically, that game is just totally off. Never going to beat it. Not even going to pass the next boss I'm trying to do. Like
you jinx yourself so hard.
So hard.
Well, that's a fun thing. Like for an Assassin's Creed game, because again, that's the one I've been playing for the longest. You can use a walkthrough for some things, like to find some secret stuff, but you don't need to. You don't need to find those things unless you're a completionist. And if you do, okay, here's where it is. Okay, go get it. Here's where it is. Okay, go get it. So it's one of those nice combos. But I'm just actually, I don't know if you've seen anything on this yet, Kevin, but have you seen the new Dragon Builders game yet? Because I just got it.
I have. I've seen a lot of it. I kind of want it, but I just don't want to pitch out the huge money for it.
Oh, I know. But did you play the first one?
I played the demo, and then when I went to go purchase the old one, because I was like, haha, the new one's coming out. That means I can get Dragon Builders 1 for $20. It's available nowhere. That's great. Love it.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, it's so hard to find right now.
Wow,
like,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and if you find it, it's like $20, like easy, brand new or used at like any Canadian game shop. But because it's $20, and I think everybody had the same idea, I can't find it like anywhere.
Wow,
so
that's crazy.
And I don't want to spend $75, because it's more expensive in Canada on a game that the new one just came out, and I could spend the $75 on that one. Like it's just no.
Yeah, I hear you. It's one of those weird ones. It's one of those weird things where things come out like a second part to a game, and then all of a sudden all the originals are just missing from shelves because of that.
Yeah.
Where 2 weeks ago you could get it for $10, $15. I mean, that's kind of the thing. Like with the Assassin's Creed games, it happened for me. Is like you can get any Assassin's Creed game right now, except for the new one, for under 30 easily, and in some cases under 10. But when that new one comes out, you can guarantee you're not going to find any of them.
Yeah,
anywhere. They're all gone.
Except for Unity.
Unity. Yeah, well, except for Unity.
Except for Unity, which I when I was working at a GameStop, we were giving away free with any purchase of any other Assassin's Creed.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was one of those games that was so glitchy when it was released that the provider of the games, the company Ubisoft, was like, hey, we just want people to try Unity because we fixed it now. So anybody who wants to buy any Assassin's Creed game, which there had been more past that. I think the one with Syndicate had come out.
Yeah,
they
were literally really fun.
Yeah. They were literally like, if anybody buys a Syndicate, just give them Unity. Just hand it to them. We want them to know.
We want them to know we apologize. It's
exactly.
our fault.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a huge thing. I remember seeing Unities like while I worked there everywhere, just literally everywhere, and I was just giving them out like candy.
No, that is crazy.
Hey, which game title, in your opinion, absolutely missed it completely, like completely bombed out?
Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna have to. Hold on. Let me open up my Steam library because I have a whole thing of these. Give me one sec.
It's a free tag for Steam.
Yeah, free tag for Steam.
Ooh. I tell you what, I have a Steam account. I haven't touched it. I want to, but I'm so afraid that once you get drawn in, because they have like free games and stuff on there all the time.
Me too.
It's like I would get so dragged into that you'd never see me again.
Oh yeah, man. I wish I could tell you how many games I have. I think it's over like 300. Only 40 of them are installed on my computer, and I've only played maybe 50 of them.
Oh God! Yes, that's exactly what I'm terrified of having. Yeah. Is like I can't have stuff on my computer that I'm not going to use. It absolutely is awful to me. It's like I need to play it. I need to do something with it.
Yeah. I'm trying. It sucks because there's games. Oh, you know what it is? I'm still waiting, and it's not like a specific game, but I'm still waiting for my next big robot game. my next mech game. I want to be a mech. I want to be in a mech. I want to destroy things as a giant random, not a giant, Gundam thing. I don't want to be like super agile Gundam attacks. I want to be like giant mech, armored core, blowing things up with my feet and shooting, looking like, all that stuff. So I buy a lot of games that hopefully have that. And every single time it's a miss. Every single time.
You're right. Yeah,
Wow.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to think about that one too. I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds vaguely like the Robotech.
Yeah. It's like, but you see, it sucks because like the best ones were like the Armored Core series on like 360 or whatever. Those were like the closest things to it to me. And even then, I'm like, okay, well, I don't mind if it's a Gundam game, if it's based in anime, if it's fun. But every single game I buy in that genre is just like Gundam Versus was trash, and there was this game called BattleTech that just couldn't keep my attention because they made it too confusing, and like they just every single time I buy it, and I buy it without fail too. I always buy it, and every time I'm like, oh god damn it.
Yeah, I remember one, and I'm not sure which what the title was, but like it had like heat sinks, and you could only move for so much, and it would use up a heat sink, and like different types of these huge mechanized like battle droids. They were huge. They were like bigger than buildings, right? They would, you only had so much heat sink, and like you were like paired off against the computer that would ultimately like whip you in no time.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally missed the mark. Totally see you on that one.
Yeah, it feels like that. I feel like there hasn't been a game that totally grabs my life of robot fantasy, of like giant mech shooting other giant mechs with explosions happening everywhere type fantasy that I want.
Yeah, there's plenty of tabletop games that do it.
Oh yeah, and I play all of them. But I need that video game now.
Oh, okay. So wait. So you're opening a can of worms right there. So talk to us about the tabletop stuff. That's another one of our big things.
I'm actually a huge Warhammer 40K player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I also used to play HeroClix, which was another one.
Nice. Now, let me ask, because you talked about fig painting earlier. I don't know if there's a term you guys use for that, or you just call it fig painting. Who knows? Yeah. Do you paint your figs, or do you use them raw, or do you have someone do them for you?
So I used to have somebody do them for me because that was the deal. He was like, will you play Warhammer 40K? And I said, yeah, of course, if you paint my models. Nice. I don't want to do any of the actual painting. And so we did for a while. And then he slowed down because he wanted to paint his own models. And then I kept on bugging him, being like, man, you said you'd paint my models. What's going on? And then eventually I was like, you know what? It can't be that hard. And yes, it is that hard. But at least I was learning something. Like I started up, I don't know if you guys know anything about Warhammer Fantasy, but like the grossest army is Nurgle. It's like this gross disease. They're all green and pussing, but they don't feel pain, so it doesn't matter. And it's mostly greens with like big giant axes and giant armor. And so I started painting them, and it was actually really nice when it was done. Like I was like painting it, I was following tutorials, and when it was over, it was like, wow, he looks so good. Like, ooh. Now it doesn't look as good as other people could do, because other people could totally do better, but he looked right to me, where it was like, yeah, I could use him now.
And that's a great sense of satisfaction, especially on that small scale for some of those minifigs. I mean, it's got to be just like pure joy. It's like, oh my God, it looks good.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've done some stuff, not myself. I've had people commission for pieces here and there for like, D&D figs and whatever. But that's been my big deterrent against doing those tabletop games. They look amazing to play, but it's so expensive to get into.
It is.
And then you got to keep up with those fig paintings, especially if you make your army grow at all or change armies or whatever it is you want to do. It can get really kind of crazy.
The games are long. The game's confusing. They've streamlined it a lot. Like now it makes way more sense than it ever did. But like I wouldn't be lying if I've probably spent a good $600-$700. Although I've been playing for like 8 years. So $600-$700 over 8 years isn't that bad to me. But,
no, that's a decent rate. Because again, you go back to, if you look at movie theater tickets these days, I mean, you're talking, $16 a pop. How many movies you go see? You're going to spend that much either way.
Exactly. At least I get to like feel like I have something. Now, of course, I'm not the hugest collector of it. Like I love Terminator, so of course I collect the Necrons, which are just literally Terminators. They're Egyptian Terminators. They look like, robo skeletons. Perfect.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So to me, it's like, yeah, I'll buy the robo skeleton guys, and it just so happens those guys aren't updated a lot, so I don't have to keep buying them. But
Nice.
I have a friend who he'll buy a model just because it looks cool, and so every paycheck it seems like, yeah, he's just dropping more and more money on it, which is totally fine because that's what he wants to do, and at least it's something tangible and something he wants to something build. The only problem that gets with it is you find the more and more you buy, the more and more time you actually need to build and paint them, and then you just have unopened boxes of Warhammer sitting around your house, which is worse than not opening an action figure, because at least with an action figure, yeah, it's there. Take me 2 seconds to open it up and just play with it or whatever. When it's miniatures, it's nah. If I open up that box, I have to cut the screws. I have to prime them, which takes hours. I then have to paint them over. It becomes a whole big ordeal rather than just, hell, I just open the box.
Yeah, it's a process. You're taking on a mini project for sure.
Exactly.
So Warhammer's your big one. Are you doing any other ones, or is that kind of your full time?
I mean, it's funny because I call it my side hobby because I can't play it every day, and I play so many card games as well. So I'm just a big hobbyist. There's a lot of I collect. God, it sucks because I'll sound like my house is full to the brim with stuff. It's not, I promise. But I'm not a hoarder. But I play a lot of card games like Magic the Gathering, Final Fantasy TCG. I used to like Pokemon, all that kind of stuff. And so Warhammer became a side hobby where it's just when my other friends want to play and we have a weekend at my friend's house who has a table we can play on, then we'll play.
Right.
So it's really fun there. In terms of any miniature hobbies, I don't really do much else. Warhammer 40K was the big one. And it can be used for so many things, it feels. They have so many different types of Warhammer 40K. So
it's easy and it's versatile, and you don't have to invest as much. Once you're invested and you got your stuff set, you can kind of do a few different things with it.
Oh, absolutely.
And that kind of it's a kind of nice, because you're talking about, because it makes, I don't know about you, Ernie, but it makes me feel like, what am I doing with my life? I have no hobbies that even compare. I try to dabble in stuff, I do, but you've got all this stuff going for you, all these hobbies you're doing. It's oh my God.
You say that, but it goes full circle, because by me having so many hobbies, I theoretically just have zero. I can't put my time in any of them.
Can't play them. Yeah, that's
I can't
true.
play them enough, right? So yeah, I have, as I said, I play card games, but if I could, I would go play Magic the Gathering every week, but I can't because I also have Final Fantasy card games that I play, and I now currently own an entire shelf of a bunch of dead card games, which is one of my favorite things ever. I have this entire shelf that is Naruto card game, Maple Story card game, Mega Man card game, Zatch Bell card game, a skateboarding card game called Heat, which beautiful, came out. It came out recently too. I have a Transformers card game,
and those just fade away into obscurity. Is that what happened?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they absolutely do. One of my favorite ones to collect is the Maple Story one, because it's so weird to own a trading card game based on Maple Story. And this is a trading card game, right? So there's rare cards, you're supposed to trade, you're supposed to build decks, and I have unopened booster boxes and unopened starter decks of it, because I go to card shops and I'm like, what do you have in the back? Do you have anything old that didn't sell? And they're like, oh yeah, we have this box of garbage. And I'm like, yes, I'll take it for pennies. And then I bring it back home and I'm like, yes, you're old and nobody loves you, but I'll love you.
That is perfect.
So yeah, it just becomes a shelf. And I love the idea, because I play Magic Gathering, because I play Final Fantasy, because I've played Pokemon, I love the idea of these things that they built, and that it's like collecting a car they're never going to make anymore. You know what I mean? Or it's collecting a video game that's out of production. It's just something that's never going to be made before, or never going to be made after this. And it was made with the intention of continuing. It was made with the intention of trading and having a power creep and having tournaments around it. And so it becomes so much more interesting to me, because why did it fail? And like some of them are easy. Why did it fail? I mean, a Naruto card game, like that's never gonna pass. Although people love Naruto, so it should have. Like it's so
they have another series coming out, I think.
Right. So the show's continuing, but the card game, which I've played because I own it, and it's not bad. Like they just need tweaks here or there, but it just didn't sell. Did they do no marketing in it? Like what happened? And like, I mean, a skateboarding card game, that was going to die from the absolute start, but they put promotional videos out for it. You can look up right now a tutorial on YouTube that they put money into. And like somebody thought it was a good idea. And I kind of just love the idea of like seeing these card games as kind of like a treasure almost, right?
It's very cool, and it's a piece of history that's never, as you said, is never going to be made again, and nobody else is going to have it. It's a very cool piece. Well, I wanted to give you the chance, Kevin, because you got so much going on, to give yourself a little round of promotion for the things that you are doing and what's coming up next for you on Twitch. What's coming up next? What are you looking forward to kind of promoting for yourself?
Oh God, what do I? It's so weird because I never think of myself as like somebody who's like doing this as it's kind of like you guys. Like I never feel like I'm going to do this for the big crowd, right? Like
it's all your 12 famous, your 12 people that you listen. It's fine.
That's what it feels like. Yeah, like it really feels like I'm doing it for the people that I have started a community with now, right?
Right.
And like, so to me, it's like, what am I going to do next? And it's like, hopefully just keep doing what I do better. Like, hopefully I'm going to just keep going on the same path, but I'm going to be more consistent. I'm going to maybe get a better microphone. Like, I'm just going to keep pushing myself to like make better content. And like, sure, if somewhere down the line, like, it's like, oh my God, oh, sure, Kevin's actually kind of popular. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Cool. Like, I'm gonna keep doing what I do.
I think we have a scroll somewhere with that very sentence. If someday it happens, cool, we'll be famous.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah. Well, I really want to say, Kevin, this has been truly delightful, and you have, I believe, at least in me and Ernie, 2 more fans of your Twitch channel. We will be following the giraffe forever here because we love it. We think it's a fantastic idea, and you're very entertaining to talk to. You definitely have a wealth of knowledge. I'm a fan. It's very very, very cool.
Stalkerish, is it? That's not very stalkerish.
No. I will hunt you to the ends.
Don't worry. I treat my stalkers very well. I pay them dinner. I give them dinner. Like,
I only have one question for Kevin. Are you making the trek to Area 51? I just need to know.
Oh man. Oh my God. I honestly had no idea what this whole thing was about till my roommate told me. And all I said to him, I was like, someone's going to get shot. Oh my God. Like, and I'm like, oh man. And there's a part of me that's like, it would be really good to have a giraffe. Just like if I could say, on a completely side note, I have a 1-to-1 ratio stuffed giraffe doll that I own. It's gigantic. It takes up an entire room. It's horrendous, but it was made by my best friend and it cost him it just cost him an absurd amount of money. And so if there was one thing I could do to help, it feels like I'd want to send that. Like, get that there, and then they can
the tip of the spear, right? Just put this in the front.
Yeah, with a little bull hat, like a cauldron on his head. And
No, that was my whole thing too. Like, why is this a thing? Why are people signing up for this? And is this really a thing, or is this a joke?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, and I hope that it stays the pace it's going and becomes a hilarious joke. I fear that it becomes another Szechuan sauce debacle.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That was like my biggest. I was like, oh God, all it takes is one guy to be like I want my Szechuan sauce style thing, and then someone gets hurt, and then who gets blamed?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they start pulling everything. Yep.
Exactly. So that's my only worry. But if it stays at like just a nice, genuine, delicious joke, perfect. Keep that style.
Or the government could say, "Hey, we were going to do this anyways. We were going to have an open house."
Yeah. Yeah. Here's some cookies. Come meet Fred the alien.
Yeah.
But yeah. I just hope it remains a joke. Is all I hope for.
No, yeah. I couldn't take it serious. I was like, wait a minute, is this really a thing? And then it started picking up steam, and I see like a lot of like postings for it, and I was just like, should I be signing up for this? I don't know if I'm like obligated because of the generation I'm all about, the X-Files thing and everything.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna sit this one out. So watch for the sideline.
Send your support to the troops, though.
It may be on Twitch though, right? It could be a Twitch thing.
Oh yeah, it might be great.
So,
I want to just thank you guys for having me on, and thanks for just hearing me out and talking to me. I guess.
Hey, it's called Two Nerds a Joke. You are by far not the joke. It's always Robert. Robert is always the joke here. So, no, really appreciate it. If anything, it was a great chat. I learned a lot, man. It's not very often that we get somebody on that.
Well, I want to thank you both for being on the show as well. Obviously, it's been a great time with both of you. And Ernie, as always, if you will, please make the magic happen.
Peace out.
Peace out. Thank you so much, guys, everybody.
And that's another episode of Two Nerds and a Joke. Follow Robert and Ernie on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and subscribe to their YouTube channel.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.